Hi, I'm Will Moore, and this is video 4 of how to write for fingerstyle guitar. I've talked through the different ways that I write in. I have a lot of different methods for coming up with new ideas for my guitar parts, and wanted to talk in this video about just placing your hands on the guitar and seeing what happens. This might not be a kind of showy, glamorous way of writing music, and I think probably a lot of people wouldn't admit to writing music in such a haphazard way. But it's definitely things that has spawned several tunes for me, and I think it's really important not to worry about having the perfect little few notes to start your piece from. You don't need this amazing idea to start a piece of music. Sometimes it just comes from putting your hands on the guitar. One way I do that is to retune the guitar. So this is in open G at the moment, and I often just try out different shapes. So the shapes that you get from standard tuning, like a C shape, a D shape, or a bar chord shape, but with some open strings. So this is like a kind of A7 bar chord shape. But as soon as you start playing around with those shapes in different tunings, you obviously get some really different results. So if you just move that around, sometimes you just get a set of chords or a couple of chords, or even just one chord that really works. So here's a C shape. Obviously not a C chord, because I'm in a different tuning. I've actually slid that C shape up a couple of frets as well. A C shape is one that I really like playing around with. I actually don't like C in standard tuning, but this shape really works in other tunings sometimes and in other positions. Here's a D shape. And so until you become completely familiar with open tunings, shifting these shapes around and just finding a little pattern that works is really useful. I'm just going to switch guitars to one that is in standard tuning, and I'm going to show you that C shape thing again, but this time I've slid it up so that my third finger is on fret 8. So you get this sound. Not immediately inspiring, but if you try out different picking methods, sometimes you find something that you're happy with. So this is something I wrote. Now this is just a backing. There's no melody to this. I mean, there is, but it's on another guitar. Yeah, but just hearing that C shape played up there just kind of inspired me to try certain strings at certain times, and just adding the little finger occasionally on the E string. And then what happens for me a lot of the time is I find that kind of initial idea, and it just suggests the next idea, like you have in your head instantly after hearing that where you need to go. And this is that kind of bar chord shape, an A minor shape, I guess. There's an A minor 7. I'm up on the 5th fret here. This is standard tuning, but because I'm sliding these standard shapes around into different places, they're giving you some different sounds. And obviously the plucking pattern as well really helps change the expectation of what you hear. So I just had that C shape, then the bar chord shape, and then that just lent itself to moving to a kind of sus shape, and then a kind of resolution, or a part resolution. Yeah, I mean, so that's not for solo fingerstyle guitar, but that kind of idea, taking a shape, moving it out of place, or changing the tuning so that you're really changing what you think you're going to hear when you put that same old chord shape on, that can give you some really, some new sounds and some definite triggers for starting a new piece of music. If I go back to open G tuning here, and another kind of variation of this is not to take a standard chord shape, but just literally plonk your fingers down in a random place and see what comes out. And it's so difficult to write original sounding stuff, especially on the guitar, which has been not overused, but used a lot for writing the kind of music I play. So one tune I had, I'm in G tuning, and I just plonked my fingers down, and it came up with that sound. And I got one finger left over here, so I kind of just brought that in. And it just kind of suggested to me where I needed to go after that. Okay, so sometimes just finding a very simple shape and moving it around, changing the tuning, moving your standard chord shapes around, or just throwing your hands on the guitar. Obviously it doesn't always work. Well, actually that doesn't sound too bad. I was going for something shocking. Let me try again. Okay, that is not inspiring a new piece of music from me, but I don't know, it takes different people, different ears. Maybe there's something in there that works for you just by taking a shape and toying around with it. This is from a piece that I wrote called A Space That's Only Just There. It's one of my favourite pieces that I've written. It's up on Spotify, A Space That's Only Just There. There is also a video of it on YouTube, and it's on my EP, which you can get on Bandcamp. And it all came from just throwing my hands into a position and seeing what came out. So yeah, try some different tunings, try some of your different shapes, try some made-up shapes, see what happens, and just sometimes those triggers really push you forward and come up with something a little bit original and interesting. I hope that works for you. Check out my other videos for some maybe more conventional ideas on how to write for solo guitar. But yeah, this is one that definitely works for me, so I hope that works out for you. See you all soon.